Good morning, everyone. From today until next week, until this weekend or some like 4 or 5 days, we will be discussing about few manual testing. Okay, manual testing is very important for you guys because in case if you are getting an after you getting into a project, if they say that you will have to first start with manual testing, then we will be facing difficulty while dealing with things, right? So in order to overcome all those things, we have started taking manual testing classes also, which is very important. Okay, now what is testing? What is testing? Testing means in okay, yes. So as per the client's requirement, we have to check a particular application or a software whether it is working fine or not. As a tester, we will have to check every single requirement and we will have to know whether it is working fine as per the client requirement or not. For example, you are going to a mobile showroom to buy a mobile. Okay, now you say that I need the mobile for so and so purpose karke you will tell the showroom guy. Okay, you will tell the showroom guy that I need the mobile for gaming purpose itself. I play a lot of games, so it should be compatible enough to play the games in a very um, ఏమంటారు speed and smooth. It should be very smooth enough to handle. Okay, now you are the client and you are telling them your requirements. Now the showroom people will go ahead and develop a software in such a way that the development team will develop the software in such a way that it is meeting the requirements, right? It is meeting the requirements that I have given as a client, right? Now after they go ahead and develop that particular software, somebody should be testing that particular software, right? So what they will do is they will keep in mind with the requirements that we have given, right? And they will test that particular software whether it is working as per the requirements, list of requirements that I've told them. Okay, they will test in a way that it should be meeting the client requirements. So that is how we will also be dealing with the as a testing team. Okay, so what we will do is we will test a particular application or a software that is developed by the development team. Okay, and then we will keep in mind with the requirements that the client has given to the BA team. Okay, now business analyst team is the first person to collect the requirements. Okay, we will not be dealing with the client directly. So business analyst team will collect the requirements from the client, and they will go ahead and design. Business analyst team and the can everybody go on mute please online? Siri Nagar. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so the business analyst team and design team will work together, okay, in order to go ahead and check with the client requirements and develop HLD and LLD documents, which is high level design documents and low level design documents. These are designed by the designing team, and business analyst team will collect the requirements and they will develop HLD and LLD BRD and FRD documents, which are business requirement documents and functional requirement documents. Okay, so these are the documents that are developed by the business team, business analyst team and the design team. Okay, now once they develop these HLD, LLD documents and BRD and FRD documents, they will give us a walkthrough on the requirements. Basing on the requirements they have designed these documents karke, they will give us a walkthrough. So development team, what they will do is they will develop the code according to the client requirements. Okay, once they develop the code according to the client requirements, it will be coming for to testing team to test that particular software or an application. So being a tester, we will check the client requirement, and according to the client requirement, if the functionality or everything is working fine or not, we will have to check from our end, right? So far clear, right? Why are we do testing and all? Now, there is something called regression and progression testing. Okay, regression and progression testing. Now, what is this regression and progression? Progression means if you have a particular application or a software developed, okay, in that particular application or a software, the client is now saying that I need, can you call them also, Sitaram and all, they are going towards that lab. Okay, so now the client is saying that I need few other features to be installed in that particular application. Okay, so now what the development team will do, they will develop the software with the new features that they have told, right? Now, after that is done, what as a tester we will do, we will check the new features that are installed in that particular application, right? So that is called progression testing. So checking the new functionality that has been added, okay, whether it is working as per the client requirement, is known as regression testing, sorry, progression testing. Okay, now what is regression testing? Because of the new functionalities that are been added, okay, we have to check whether the old functionalities that were already there in that particular application, whether they got impacted because of the new functionality or not. If it gets impacted, then we will have to rectify it. If it doesn't impact, then no further process needs to be done. Okay, so checking the old functionality, whether it is working as per the client requirement or not, is what is known as regression testing. Now, why are we doing regression testing? In order to check, because of the new functionalities that have been added, we should be making sure that the old functionality is not getting affected. Okay, so that's the reason why we are doing regression testing. Okay, clear until this? Regression, progression.
Madam, screen is not visible in.
I am not sharing any screen for today. Whenever
Yeah,
it is
sorry,
required,
sorry,
I'll
sorry.
I'll share the screen.
Yeah, sure, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So all of us know what is regression, progression, testing. Okay. Why are we doing testing and all, right? If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll clarify. 1 second. Just give me a minute. Okay. Now, I'm not sure December batch, how many of you have seen their resumes that we have prepared. In our resumes, what we are doing is we are mentioning that we have very good knowledge on SDLC, STLC, okay, agile scrum methodologies, smoke testing, sanity testing, regression, progression. We are mentioning all of these things, but we actually do not know anything of this, right? But we are mentioning, okay? So these classes are conducted for you guys to know what exactly is each and every particular thing meant for. Okay, SDLC ante enti, agile ante enti. We are going to discuss these things in this complete 1 week. Okay, 1 week low we will be doing all these things. How to write test cases and scenarios we will be telling you about. Okay, all of these things are very important, so that is the reason why we are going to take a 1 week class for manual testing itself. Okay, suppose this December batch will be perfectly fine with the manual testing and the automation testing, right? So in order to be on par with all of these things, we are going to take all these classes. So please pay attention. From today itself, both Jan batch and December batch will be clubbed together. Okay, 9 o'clock sharp, we will be taking these classes. Please be available by 9 in the classroom, whoever is attending classroom trainings. Okay, now there's something called smoke and sanity testing. Okay, what is smoke testing? What is sanity testing? Now, if once the development team has developed that particular software, okay, the software is released for the testing team to test that particular software, right? So we will check whether that particular build means releasing that particular software is itself, that particular application or software itself is a build. Okay, once it is released, okay, we will check whether it is stable or not. If it is not stable, if it is not like, if it is not working fine, we will not be able to go ahead and check for further testing, right? We will not be able to go for further testing. So that is the reason why once the build is stable, we will be doing both smoke and sanity testing. Okay, now there is a slight difference between smoke testing and sanity testing. Smoke testing means we will go ahead and check all the high level spot checks. Okay, high level spot checks means in Orange HRM, okay, whether we are able to log in with the credentials that they have given. We are able to click on the login button or not. We are able to, go on to this particular module or not, like admin, PIM, whatsoever modules are there. Okay, that we will be doing in smoke testing, and we will not have any planned test cases in smoke testing. Smoke testing is the first thing that we will be doing once the build is released from the development team. Okay, the very first thing that we will be doing on any of the build, okay, once it is released, we will be doing smoke testing only. Okay, and after that we will be doing sanity testing. Now we will do sanity testing also when the build is stable. Okay, when it is not stable, then we will go ahead and tell the development team that build is not stable, can you please check from your end. Okay, once the build is stable, we will be doing sanity testing also. Okay, however, in sanity testing, from each and every single module, we will plan 1 or 2 test cases. From each and every single module, we will be planning 1 or 2 test cases. Ante admin module lo nen 2 test cases nen plan cheskuntanu that I need to execute and check whether it is working as per the client requirement or not. Okay, however, in smoke testing, I am not going in depth. అడ్మిన్ మాడ్యూల్ వర్క్ చేస్తుందా లేదా అని చెక్ చేస్తాను. అంటే దాని మీద క్లిక్ చేసి నేను నాకు అది ఆ వర్క్ అవుతుందా లేదా అని చెక్ చేస్తా. I will not go in depth in smoke testing. Okay, whereas in sanity testing, I will be going in deep, and I'll be checking at least 1 or 2 test cases from each and every single module, whether they are working as per the client requirement or not. We will be testing this. Clear enough? Any questions? What is smoke, sanity, regression, progression? It will be only for manual testing lone ee chestamo. Regression, progression, smoke, sanity. This is only when we do manual testing, when we deal with manual testing. Now there are some projects that will be doing regression testing only. ఎందుకంటే వాళ్ళకి ఒక సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ఆల్రెడీ డెవలప్ అయిపోయింది, అప్లికేషన్ ఆల్రెడీ డెవలప్ అయిపోయింది. Why they will do regression testing only is because they have all the new features installed already. Now they have to check whether the old functionalities are working or not. So they will be only doing regression testing. Few of the projects will be doing progression testing only. They'll be installing the new functionalities itself, and they will be testing the functionalities whether they are working as per the client requirement or not. It is not mandate that you will be doing both regression progression in a project. Depending on the project that you are aligned to, depending on their requirements, you will be doing the things. Don't be in assumption that we will be always doing smoke testing, we will be always doing sanity. No, depending on the project's requirement also, you'll be doing that. Regression, progression, smoke, sanity, whatever it is. Okay, clear enough? Now, I've been telling you that, okay, I'll tell you one thing. Whenever while testing a particular case, okay, while testing a particular case, we will be checking whether the particular application is working as per the client requirement or not, right? So if we are getting an error while executing a particular case, okay, if you are getting an error while executing a particular case, then we will tell the development team that, you know what, I received a so and so error. Can you please rectify this? Right? We have received so and so error. Can you please rectify this from your end? Right? So for in order to send this particular thing, we will be writing it in defect parameter. Okay. We will be telling the development team that this is the error that we have received in the format of defect parameter. Okay, defect parameter ane oka format pen drive vachin tarvata I'll show you how it looks and all. Okay. Defect parameter lo, what you will do is you will tell the defect that you have received. Okay, you will tell the defect that you have received, and what is the in which step you have received the error, what is the expected result. Okay, now expected result means for a particular case. Okay, now you are automating a Gmail scenario. Okay, you are manually testing the Gmail scenario in Gmail. Okay, you're creating an account. For creating an account, let me share your screen. తీసుకో వచ్చారు. Okay, this is Gmail. Okay, now in this particular Gmail account, I want to create a account. Okay, now for creating an account, first step you will be doing is input the URL, right, of the particular application, right? That will be the first step. Now the second step would be you have to create an account, right? So you will have to click on create account. So that would be second step. Now what would be the expected result means, if you launch this particular URL, it should go on to the Google Gmail login screen, right? This is the login screen of Gmail account. Okay. Now the second step is you have to click on create account. Once you click on create account, it should be able to give me these options, whether I have to create a account for myself or for my kid or to manage my business. These are the three options that I should be getting. Now in first scenario, I will be writing the test case basing on create account for myself. Okay, I'm just giving you high level this thing. I will show you how to write a test case and scenario. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Can somebody close that door? Okay. Now I said we should be writing test expected results and actual result, right? This is how you will be writing test case. In this template, you will be writing test case. Now I said I will be writing a test case on Gmail account, creating a Gmail account, right? So creating a Gmail account means I will be writing the case ID, and here I will be writing create an account for myself, right? So in test case objective, I will be writing system should be able to create an account for myself, right? Now I should be writing steps. How many steps I am following to create an account for myself? Okay, the step 1 should be URL. Step 2 should be I should click on create account and I should be navigating to for myself, right? I should click on create account and I should be clicking on myself. That will become step 2. Okay, now step 3 becomes I should be able to fill all
Walaikum
these
Assalam.
information. Sorry. Okay, step 3 becomes I should be able to fill in first name, last name, username, and I should be able to create a password. Okay, and I should be clicking on next. Okay, so that becomes the step 3. Once it goes to next, it will be going on to the login page of Gmail account, right? Inbox. So likewise, you can define your steps. Okay, in how many steps you will be able to create an account for myself. That will become a case 1. Now my case 2 will be create an account for my child. So you will have to follow all those steps again. Okay, so for each and every step, while you execute that particular step, you will be getting some result, right? While executing that particular step, you will be getting some result. సో ఇప్పుడు నేను ఆ టెస్ట్ కేస్ నేను రన్ చేశాను అనుకోండి, యూఆర్ఎల్ లాగిన్ అవ్విందా లేదా అని చెప్పేసి మనకి ఒకటి వస్తుంది, టెస్ట్ పాస్ ఆ ఫెయిలా అని చెప్పి. సో that would be the actual result after executing that particular case. What is the result that you are getting will be the actual result. Okay, now expected result means what are we expecting out of that particular step. Ante ఇప్పుడు login to system with the below application URL and enter username and password and click on login button. This is the application URL for Orange HRM. Okay, so if I click on this particular URL and login button after entering the username and password, it should go on to the Orange HRM home page, right? That is the expected result. Okay, actual result ante what are you getting after executing that particular case? That will become an actual result. Please understand the difference between actual result and expected result. Okay, now after that what we are doing is we are providing the status. Okay, we are providing the status whether the test case got passed or failed, no run, blocked, something like this. Now what is no run? Passing ka fail aitha I need not explain, right? That is self-explanatory. Now what is no run? No run means if you are getting, if your team lead is giving this particular case, okay, to write the test case, he is giving a particular case in the day end until 1 hour before your logout, for example, let's say. And within that particular hour, you will be able to write a test case, obviously. However, you have some scheduled meetings, right? And you did not write any test case on that particular case that they have given, right? So in that case, if your team lead or manager is asking the status of the test case that they have given, you can say them that it is in no run status. That means you haven't touched anything. You haven't written anything on that particular test case. Okay, Now there is something called blocked. Okay, so for example, you're running a particular test case and you're getting a 404 error. Okay, page not found error. Okay, now you are logging that particular defect in defect parameter to tell the development team that, you know what, I received such so and so error. Can you please go ahead and fix it off from your end, right? So that particular defect is already logged, right? If you're running the particular case again, okay, or the next step, okay, if you're running the next step and you are getting the same error again, okay, the same error again, then you can say the status as blocked because you've already logged that particular defect in the defect parameter. 404 error నాకు మళ్ళీ repeat అవుతుంది. I need not duplicate that particular error because that error is already been logged in the defect parameter. Any questions? Not completed. Sorry?
Blocked, I did not get it, ma'am. Blocked.
Blocked అర్థం కాలేదా? ఓకే.
అర్థం కాలేదు.
బ్లాక్డ్ అంటే ఇప్పుడు మీకు ఒక 404 ఆర్ పేజ్ నాట్ ఫౌండ్ ఎర్రర్ వచ్చింది ఒక్క టెస్ట్ కేసు రాయడానికి రాసేటప్పుడు, అదే ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసేటప్పుడు. ఓకే, సో ఆ పర్టికులర్ స్టెప్ కి I am telling that the development team that this is the defect that we have received. Can you please check from your end? I am telling the development team. The same error I'm getting into the next step also. For example, okay, the same error I'm getting it in the next step also. Then నేను ఆ డిఫెక్ట్ నేను ఆల్రెడీ ప్రీవియస్ స్టెప్ కి నేను డెవలప్మెంట్ టీమ్ కి చెప్పాను కాబట్టి 404 ఎర్రర్ వచ్చింది కాబట్టి వాళ్ళు ఫిక్స్ చేస్తున్నారు ఇష్యూ కాబట్టి I need not log this particular defect once again in the defect parameter. Instead of that, I can say the status of that particular step as blocked because I'm getting the same error in this particular step also. Okay, ఒకటే error multiple steps ki వచ్చింది అని అంటే you can say the status as blocked for that particular step. Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, now no run ki not complete ki there is a huge difference. No run means, as I told you, you haven't written any test case and you haven't started off that particular test case or step executing adi meer cheyaledu. Okay, then you will say the status of that particular case as no run. I haven't started with that particular test case. Now not completed means you have n number of steps. For example, you have 15 steps. Out of these 15 steps, you have executed and you have tested at least 10 steps. Okay, for example, let's say, and rest 5 steps ki meeku time over అయిపోయింది and you are logging off for that particular day, right? For example, okay. Now, if your team lead is asking what is the status of the test cases that I have given, then you can say that as not complete because you have executed few of these steps. However, you have left with few other steps that needs to be done. Okay, clear? No run ante asalu meer danni muttukoledu. You didn't do anything on that particular case. Okay, but not complete means you have done partial test case execution. You are left with few of the other steps that needs to be executed. ఏంటంటే అర్థం కాల. నాట్ కంప్లీటెడ్ అని అంటే మీరు కొన్ని స్టెప్స్ మీరు ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేశారు అండ్ యు ఆర్ సేయింగ్ దట్ few of the steps are pending to be executed. Okay, so then you can say not completed. But no run అని అంటే you're clearly saying that I haven't touched that particular test case itself. నేను అసలు దానిలో ఏమి ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయలేదు, ఏమి చేయలేదు అందులో. In that way, in that scenario, you will be using the status as no run. ఓకే, నో రన్ అని అంటే ఆబ్వియస్లీ డే బిగినింగ్ లో మీకు టెస్ట్ కేస్ ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయమని చెప్పేసి మీకు ఇచ్చారనుకోండి, డే ఎండ్ లో మీకు స్టేటస్ అడిగితే if you say it as no run, then they will obviously say that what did you do the complete day then, right? If you say it as not completed, then at least they will know that okay fine, few of the steps have been executed, there are few other pending, and maybe he or she is waiting for the development team to respond back, right? There might be n reasons if you say that it's not it's in not complete status. Clear? This is how we will be writing the test case in this format itself. Okay, what are there in test case? Test case id, objective of that particular test case, steps in order to achieve that particular test case. Okay, description of that particular step, each step ki enti description. Step 1 url login avvali. Step 2 I have to go on to the so and so module. Step 3 after going to that module it should be navigating to this particular thing. Okay, likewise we will be writing the step cases. Okay, steps and description of that particular steps. Now what is the expected result of that particular step? We will be writing in the expected results ante what we are expecting out of that particular step. Okay, actual results no, what is the actual result while executing that particular test case will be written. Okay, and status as I informed, type manual untadi, designer would be your name. Okay, and subject would be whichever test phase you are in, you will be writing that particular test phase. Okay, clear enough until this? Yes, yes, excel sheet lo untadi. Okay, and after you writing the test cases, okay, a test cases rasin tarvata you will have to make sure that you are getting an approval from the business analyst team, designer team, development team, that yes, this is what the client is required and that is how you have designed this particular test case. Okay, simple. Once we receive the response from the BA, from each and every stakeholder, we will be going ahead and proceeding further in executing all these test cases that we have written. Unless and until we receive a approval from the, all these stakeholders, including the client, we will not be going further executing these test cases. Okay. Now, I've told you that we will be logging a particular defect in defect parameter, right? So defect parameter is, this is how it will look like. The similar way it will be looking like. Okay. Now you have something called issue description. Okay. What is the issue of that particular step? What is the issue of that particular step? Okay, ante ఇప్పుడు మీరు రన్ చేసేటప్పుడు what was the issue that you have received and you have to describe it. Okay, in which step you have received that particular error? Step 1 or step 2 or step 13 or 14 or whatever the steps are. Okay, you will be writing that particular step number and a step lo manam em chestunnamo. So if you say that you have received a error in step 3, step 3 lo click on add button, add skill button lo నాకు error వస్తుంది. So I will be writing here step 3 and click on add skill button. అక్కడ error వస్తుంది కాబట్టి I'll be writing that particular step. Actual result means what is the result that we have received while executing that particular test case. Okay, expected result means what is the result that we were expecting out of that particular step. Clear? Test environment means what is the URL that you are working on and what is the username and password for that particular URL. If you have any client information on that particular application, you will have to mention in consumer number. Okay. Now priority and severity. Priority means how immediately you want that particular test case or that step or that error to be fixed. Okay. And what is the impact if that error is not fixed within the stipulated time? Okay, obviously ఇప్పుడు మీరు ఒక టెస్ట్ కేస్ రన్ చేస్తున్నారు, ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తున్నారు, స్టెప్ 1 యూఆర్ఎల్ లాగిన్ చేయాలి అనే దానిలోనే ఎర్రర్ వచ్చింది అనుకోండి, యువర్ రెస్ట్ ఆల్ స్టెప్స్ విల్ ఫెయిల్, రైట్? ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ డెఫినెట్లీ యూఆర్ఎల్ లాంచ్ అవ్వట్లేదు. హౌ విల్ యూ గో అహెడ్ అండ్ క్లిక్ ఆన్ యూజర్ నేమ్ అండ్ పాస్వర్డ్? హౌ విల్ యూ గో అహెడ్ అండ్ click on so and so module, right? Your first step is only getting failed. So you have to mention the impact of the particular error in priority with the help of codes that we have given: P1, P2, P3, P4. P3 and P4 less used, never used, because the impact of that particular each and every particular step is very important. So P1 is critical, P2 is high, P3 is medium, and P4 is low. Medium and low you will never use. Okay, obviously criticality and critical and high low మీరు యూస్ చేయొచ్చు. Critical means URL దగ్గర నాకు ఎర్రర్ వచ్చింది కాబట్టి ఎవ్రీ సింగిల్ స్టెప్ ఇస్ గెటింగ్ ఎగ్జిక్యూషన్ ఫెయిల్డ్. So that's the reason why I'll be using this P1 critical. You can use P2 if you are getting an error while logging off that particular application, because log off ayin tarvata you do not have any other steps to be done, right? So while logging off to